firefighters and everybody else that came out to help set everything up. And thank you guys all for being here as well, because it's a great turnout, and we really do appreciate it, because a lot of hard work has gone in over the last 50 years to get to where we are today. So thank you very much for everybody being here. So a little bit of history here, and first of all, we have the Hartman family. Clyde Hartman, raise your hand, stand up. We take that a little step further. Chief Clyde Hartman. Chief Allen. We had a firefighter dispatcher, Charlotte Hartman. Family goes on into her husband, Chief Ron Strawn. Part of that saying the chiefs is that's just a variety of what Chief Don Hartman has provided for us here in Orville, was with a long line in history of personnel teaching us, when I was younger, the true mechanics of what they have brought to us. So once a chief, always a chief, and thank you guys for what you've done. They also have many other family members in the crowd. I don't really know them too well anymore. We have Dusty that was here for a long time, many years ago, so thank you.
Michelle.
There you go. Shelley. So a little bit about Don. I sat down with the family and wanted to talk a little bit about Don Hartman, because most anybody here in the firehouse didn't get a chance to know him, and I did get a chance, but I was really, really small. So from what I gathered from them, I sat down and kind of interviewed the family and talked to them, and it's just like, wow, you just miss out on so much, and what somebody brought to this that just gets forgotten. And that's kind of what this award is about, is to make sure that our history will always live on somehow, some way. You know, I know we look at the back and we have a lot of brave firefighters and everything back, but there was a lot of things that took place prior to that, and that's why we're here. So Don, to me, talking with Clyde and Charlotte and Ron, I didn't get a chance to talk to Alan too much, but he was basically a true pioneer for Orville and Orville Fire District, not just the fire district, but the town itself. He owned a business at one time. Was it a towing business? You guys jump in if you need to, if I'm getting anything wrong.
And it's Union 76.
Yeah, it was at a service station, right?
And towing.
Yeah, and towing. So, so yeah, he would do that, and amongst some of that talking was that he would even help people when they couldn't even pay. He would stretch out that far and help those people, and it's just amazing. So in 1966, or prior to that, I believe him and Mr. Collette and a few other people started getting some monies around and bought the old fire engine that you guys see out front to have fire protection for Orville. Is that right? Is that on key so far? Okay. I'm just learning a lot of this myself, but and then in 1966 there was a women's group in town that helped, was it the petition and everything else, and got the fire district formed and everything. So there was a big process, and back then that's all they had. And the stories coming from the family were that when there was a family or a fire, they Vi, which was Don's wife, who just recently passed away, our condolences go out to the family. She would drive the Viper, which we call the Viper, the old. What year is that anyway? Is it a 40?
I think it's a 47.
47. So she would get in there and drive it, and all the merchants that were involved with the fire district would jump on the truck while they go down. And somebody said there are stories of her wearing a pink dress doing that. So anybody can see that, you know. But you know, the fact is that's what they did to get things done, and we're really truthfully grateful for what they did. Not only that, Chief Hartman brought the first junior fire program in the state of Arizona, which still exists today, right here. So, and as a result of that, I came from there, Tyler McGovern came from there, Harley Van Coy came from there, and it's going on and on. So it's been around for a long time. And Michael Parr is in here. I'm looking back there, but There he is. So, you know, that's just a little bit of what he did. Not only that, he worked for Pinal County Sheriff's Office. You know, and I believe he retired as a detective. So, as you can see, you know, the man, not only the man, but the family itself had a lot of influence on what was going on, just trying to make things better. So, the one thing that I really got out of this is I talked to one of the children, which would be Clyde, when I talked to him and said, hey, Clyde, this is what we're wanting to do. We want to bring this to you guys in name of Chief Hartman. And I was really took back because one of the first things he told me, he says, well, it wasn't all about Dad. It was about the people. That's what he was about. He was about the people. And it was like, wow, it was touching, and it was just a reminder of how things really are. And it is about the people. That's why we are here. It's for the people. And that's how it was. And it was neat to see how that had been passed on for generations. It was really neat how just a single family or even one person can be influential like that. So it was awesome. So I got a couple quick little stories about a couple of the Hartmans that I know, and even Ron. So I'll start off just going down. I remember fighting a structure fire with Chief Hartman, and it would have been the second time that we were fighting this thing, and there was just so much black smoke rolling out of the front door of this trailer. I was scared. I was younger at the time, running around, and one thing that impressed me most was that he just stayed in one spot and took care of what he needed to do. And I mean, we didn't have our SCBAs on. We get in trouble today. But he just stayed there, and I was kind of like, wow, this is not right. He's going to get hurt. But he knew what he was doing, and he had been taught, and that's what he did. And he showed me right then and there what courage and bravery is to stay in there and get out when you need to. And it will stay with me forever. And just that, don't run when the first chance you get, you know, wait it out and see. So, Clyde, thank you for that. And I just remember you looking back at me and going, are you going to get out of there? And going, no, there's a fire. Why am I going to get out of here? You know, so yeah, it was neat. Another one with Chief Allen is I was working at the mine coming home, and I just happened to onside a big semi on fire. And at the time, you know, I run down and I'm calling people and everything else. Well, Alan gets here, and the only truck we had at the time, that our attack truck, was 250 gallons. And we get in that thing and we go blazing down there, and there's this big semi on fire. And I get out, I put all my stuff on, I pull my hose, and he gives me water. I mean, it was picture perfect. And I'm spraying from a long ways ago, and pretty soon Alan comes up next to me and he's like, what are you doing, kid? I'm putting the fire out. And he's like, no, get up in there and put that fire out. So I take 5 or 6 steps up, and 5 minutes later he's like, what are you doing? You know, I'm like, I'm putting the fire out. Get your butt up in there and put the fire out. It really showed me, again, how to fight fire. You've got to get up in there. You've got to, you know, don't be scared. You've got to get in there. And I remember that, and it was a great lesson, especially on a vehicle fire. You can't put it out from being so far away. He says, you only got 250 gallons. You better make sure you get it put out. So those are great lessons that were really, really taught. And with Ron, Chief Strawn there, one thing that he always taught me was that if you ever want to go further than just being a fireman, is to really know the trucks. You really need to know those pumps. You need to know how they operate. And Chief Strawn was really, really good on them. And I sat and I watched over the years, and he probably didn't even realize it, but he taught me so much by just watching, by the way he would listen to them, by the gauges and everything else. And it's been phenomenal. Thank you for that as well. So, and he was great with that. Charlotte, I always remember Charlotte in here as a dispatcher telling us, going, you'll always tell what kind of character somebody is when you have an emergency, whether they run or whether they stay. And as a dispatcher in here, I'm sure it was pretty comical watching all of us young guys running here, taking off our flip-flops and running them over and getting in gear and stuff like that. And it is honestly true. You do get to see what type of character somebody is in that time of need and in that crucial emergency. And that's always stuck with me for the longest time, because it's true. I think her exact words were, you get to see what they're made of. You get to see whether they're a true hero or a chicken. So, so great. Thank you for that. So, so on behalf of the Don Hartman Award, I would like to have the Hartman family come up and accept the Hartman Award 2016. Come on in, everybody. So we'll pass this on to you guys. Actually, if we can, you want to come up in the front here? And
We've got to squeeze together. She's going to get all
got to do the picture thing, guys.
Oh, sorry.
This will be presented to the firefighter of the year every year from now on. So there you go. Great. So round of applause. Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is read this, okay? And this is kind of what we came up with after our interviews with the family. 2016 Don Hartman Award presented to the Hartman family. This award is presented to an individual, in this case a family, who has displayed selflessness, caring, honor, respect, gratitude, and the commitment to the people of Oracle. And again, I wanted to make sure, after talking with them, that this award doesn't just represent the Hartman family. It also represents everybody that helped start this district and everybody else from then on, because as I mentioned earlier, how Clyde even talked about, it wasn't about Dad, it was about the people, and that's what this represents. That's everything that they've passed on from 1966 and when it started. So thank you guys very much, and thank you for the other families and everybody else that helped everybody along the way. So thank you. Absolutely. Now, thank you. Now we're going to also present a firefighter with that same award for 2016. So before I bring the individual up, I'm going to go ahead and say his name because I need to talk to him a little bit, about him a little bit. So this year, it'll be presented to Battalion Chief Brian McGinnis. And it's kind of funny, you know, as I was putting all this stuff together, the resemblance of the two, you know, Don Hartman and Chief McGinnis. I've known Chief McGinnis for a long time. We went to high school together, we played football together, and we've worked a lot. Probably have more phone time with him than I have my own wife, so. When I sit down and want to talk about him, there's three things that really come to mind. His dedication, his fairness, and just doing what's right. And those are true characters of him. His dedication, you know, if you guys might see him down here, you guys might read in the paper or something else like that, but it's a daily basis that I deal with him on. And I can tell you the dedication not only to this district, but to his regular job, to his family, is phenomenal. It's hard to do. It's a lot of work, and it takes somebody special to do it. And his fairness. I'm telling you that the fairness is just, it's whether it benefits him or not, he wants to do what's right. He wants to make it fair for everybody. And we've had many, many discussions on things that contributes to. You know, he's what about the guys? What about the people? You know, it's not about him, it's about the people. Kind of referring back to the Hartman family, you know. And he really does truly just want to do what's right for the people, what's right, who's it going to affect. It's amazing. It's really good. I've been honored working with him for a long, long time. With that, I also want to extend a thank you to his wife, Crystal, and his 2 children, Brendan and Brianna. Thank you. It takes a lot of time, and we understand that, and we thank you guys for that. We really, truly do. You know, I told a little stories about the Hartman family, and I got a little one about Brian. And it's not too bad. It's kind of funny. We were out on a reported structure fire that the fire had gotten up in a chimney. This was years and years ago, probably before we even became certified firefighters. So we decided that in order to make sure that this fire doesn't progress anymore, that we were going to cut a hole in the roof of this extremely pitched A-frame house. Had no business on the roof, but we were up there. We weren't tied off, we didn't have ladders, nothing else. But we wanted to make sure that this fire, we didn't want to come back to this place. And it's almost dark. So we get up there and we start peeling something away because it had gotten up in the chimney on the outside and gone all the way up. Well, there was a few other people up there, and they had eventually got down, and they're all, you know, kind of mingling down at the truck, talking about stuff, and me and Brian were still up there. And I was kind of straddling the A-frame and everything else. Well, Brian started slipping. He started falling down. And, you know, he's going down, you know, you got these asphalt tiles, and he's just going, and there's nothing to grab onto. Again, we shouldn't have been there. We shouldn't have been on there. So with me, thankfully, my legs were on the other side of the pitch, and I was able to go out and grab him right as he was going over the crest of the house. So I had just done what every firefighter had ever wanted to do, and that was to save somebody. You know, my eyes were that big, and his eyes were that big, and I was like, yeah, I got it, you know, and I get him up, you know, and I look back now, and I'm just shaking my head. And he's like, you know, thank you and everything else, and I'm, you know, we're both shaking, and yeah, no problem, you know, and everything else. And it's funny, Brian's like, I wonder why everybody's just standing down there looking at us, you know, and there was no commotion, no nothing. I'm like, I don't know, you know, we're just patting each other on the back and thanks, and, you know, and as we start climbing down the ladder, and I look over to where we were, I realized there was a balcony there, and his feet probably were only dangling. So we both just kind of figured out where everybody was just standing there wondering what we were doing. You know? So anyways, Brian, it's been awesome. You are a big part of what goes on here day to day. He does our schedules. He does so much as a backbone of this district, and we really do appreciate everything that you have done for us. So the firefighter for the 2016 award goes to, Don Hartman award goes to Brian McGinnis. More pictures?
Speech!
So I just really wanted to talk a little bit more about the resemblance between the two, you know, the family of Don Hartman himself, the people that, and what Brian has contributed. It was funny because when I was doing notes and stuff like that, I'm comparing them. You know, one works for PCSO, the other one also works for PCSO, Pinal County Sheriff's Office. So he serves this community in more than one purpose. So it was neat actually putting all of that together and looking at it. So, but Brian, thank you very much. So. Just remember, I saved you.
Hold it together.
Yeah,
Hold
absolutely.
it together.
Yeah,
You got me choked up.
That's a good thing, man. That's good.
That's perfect.
You bet. I'm glad you did it. I'm really glad you did it. I'm glad